Hi everyone and welcome to I Love Dubuque. I'm Kevin Lynch.
Hi, and I'm Molly Grover.
And we have got a fantastic show lined up for you today. We're going to be focusing on young professionals in Dubuque, aren't we, Molly?
That's right, Kevin. We're going to be talking to a single, a couple, and a family, all young professionals that live, work, and play right here in Dubuque.
That's right. We've got a great show lined up. We're going to be visiting some fun places, and we hope you'll join us on
I Love Dubuque.
Right now, I'm standing here talking with Zoe Pohl, who is the Director of Workforce Development for the Dubuque Area Chamber of Commerce. Zoe, thanks for joining us today.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Tell us a little bit about what you do as Director of Workforce Development.
Well, in fitting with your theme today, we run the Young Professionals of Dubuque organization out of the Chamber. YP Dubuque is a local chapter of a national movement of young professional organizations that are cropping up all over the country. Our organization started in 2006 with about 50 people, and we're now up to close to 280 members.
So tell us about some of the activities that the YP group does. I know there's a lot of them.
You bet. There are so many ways to be involved with YP Dubuque. You can attend monthly luncheons. You can go to the annual YP Symposium one-day conference. You can go to social events, community service events. You can get involved by volunteering on one of the committees. There's great ways to meet all kinds of people, and it's a great group to be involved with.
So for that young professional out there that has not gotten involved yet, what would you tell them? What to ease their fears or make them more comfortable with kind of stepping out and getting involved?
Well, first of all, check out our website, which is www.ypdubuque.org. That is also linked to the Chamber of Commerce website. And you can check out the committees to be involved in. You can check out upcoming events. You can sign up for our bi-weekly newsletter. So a great way to learn about the organization before you sign on the dotted line. But membership dues are very reasonable at $35 for an entire year of membership. So it's a great way to get your foot in the door with the community.
And they can probably call you and ask questions too, right?
Absolutely, yep. Call me at the Chamber at 557-9200.
Okay, well, Zoe, thanks for joining us today.
You bet. Thank you.
Okay, Molly and I are sitting here in a beautiful coffee shop down on Bluff Street in downtown Dubuque called Monk's Coffee, and we're pleased to be joined today by a young professional couple from Dubuque, Wes and Rebecca Bowman. Folks, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
We should probably just start off by asking you a few questions. Let's start with this place that we're sitting in today, Monk's Coffee. Rebecca, you said that you come down here quite often. Tell us about what you do when you come down here.
On Wednesday nights they have music, so Wes and I like to come down and listen to the music, grab a beer. They have beer and wine here, so that's really nice, and coffee, and so it's just a nice, cozy atmosphere to hang out here in Dubuque. Something different.
And Wes, you're a student at University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Tell us a little bit about what you're majoring in up there.
I'm in the master's program for counselor education, studying to become a school counselor. Really love the program, and it's a very short drive from Dubuque, probably about 20 minutes a day.
Rebecca, you work here in Dubuque, and I know you through Young Professionals, which we'll talk about here in just a minute, but tell us about your career here in Dubuque.
I actually work with Cottingham and Butler as an account administrator. So what that entails is I work directly with the sales guys. And so once, a client has been brought into the company, I kind of manage that relationship and, build the relationship and assist just kind of on the day-to-day activities.
You're a young professional couple living here in Dubuque. Tell us about what brought you to Dubuque as a couple.
Sure. I guess during the courting process, we each had a weekend where we had to try to impress the other. It was called Super Hot Weekends. And so I showed around Ohio, where I was from, and she showed me around Dubuque and Minneapolis. And that was my first time being in Dubuque, and I actually really liked it.
From being in bigger cities, being in Minneapolis, we lived in Cleveland, we lived in Columbus, and you have what I think a lot of young professionals are looking for. You have jobs that pay very well, you have fun places to go to in the evenings, nice location, shopping, those type of things. But what Dubuque brings, and I think what drew us, is that it's a smaller community, but it's so close to everything. I mean, if you want to drive to Chicago, if you want to drive to Minneapolis, you want to go to Missouri, it's so close in vicinity to get that kind of fix that you need if you need to, go on a major shopping spree. But it also has jobs that pay very well.
So I'm curious, what did your friends and family back in Ohio say when you told them you were moving?
That's a good question.
Not so supportive, but they missed me being closer. But
yeah, but they were Iowa. Why? Because I think the perception of Iowa is it's cornfields. It's nothing, there's nothing there. If anything, they've driven through 35W, which is kind of like a boring highway to drive on. And Dubuque, with the bluffs and how just beautiful it is and the architecture. I mean, I know Dubuque has like a CD that they kind of like a welcome packet that goes out, and I just recently viewed the new video for it, and I was like, oh, I was getting kind of teary. I was like, that's why we moved here, because it's so beautiful.
Now, you said that you recently bought a house, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, and that in this particular economy environment is not something that a lot of people are doing. Was that a scary thing for you to buy a home here in Dubuque?
I think it was actually scary, yes, in essence that, currently we're kind of on one income.
We're first-time home buyers.
First-time homeowners, so that's, a different...
little learning curve to that.
Very big learning curve altogether. But I think it was probably the smartest decision that we made right now in this economy.
Yeah, we were blown away by how affordable it is to live in Dubuque. Coming from Ohio, where the same piece of real estate would cost probably twice or three times as much, and you don't see that difference in earning potential in a city like that.
So we've talked about great careers, we've talked about quality of life, the wonderful things there are to see and do in the area, we talked about affordable housing. Let's talk about young professionals, because one of the things that has been shown to make people feel more welcome is their support systems in a particular community. Can you tell us about Young Professionals of Dubuque?
Sure, I'd love to. It's an organization that I kind of heard about through my work. Some people were getting involved in it, and I went to one of the luncheons and was drawn in by how welcoming everybody was. You sit down at a table full of 8 people, and you have 8 different people that are open and wanting to chat and talk to you and kind of draw you in and ask questions, and you feel more comfortable. Because, at our age, when, you're either not in school or you're not in high school, we don't have children that we're meeting other other people that way, is that it is harder to branch out and get friends or connections and networks. And while I am originally from here, I only have a brother that lives here. The rest of my family moved up to Minnesota and kind of followed me when I went up there. So it is, our weekends aren't filled with having family. And the Young Professional group was a network for me. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm going to try to get involved with this. And I got involved in their relationship building committee, and that just kind of grew into now being part of their executive committee, where our major focus is to connect young professionals.
You kind of summed it all up about what the show's all about, I Love Dubuque, shattering the myth. and encouraging people that Iowa is so much more than cornfields. And Dubuque, we want you here. We have great jobs, we have great quality of life, we have affordable housing, we have the amenities, the cities that you can have right here in a small town. You're not anonymous, people know your name. The name of the show is I Love Dubuque. I hope that you could share with us what it is that you love about Dubuque.
I love the people here. I just think people have been so welcoming since I moved here. And I love just the amount of things there are to do here. I mean, just there's a lot of opportunities.
I'm going to have to second that. I mean, the people, I love the people here. They're so friendly and warm, and it's that Midwestern, like, love.
Hospitality.
Hospitality. It's great.
Great. Well, Wes and Rebecca, thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate your
Thank you for having us.
I Love Dubuque.
Yep. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
I love Dubuque.
America's greatness was not crafted in skyscrapers alone, but on the ground by those who could see what needed to be done. Volunteers who in service stepped forward onto the dust of the moon, the levee in the heartland, the marble steps of a dream. You may ask yourself, where's my moon, my levee, my dream? Well, it's here, with you. Step forward. Help renew America at usaservice.org.
Fiverr is a year-round youth development organization for inner-city kids. Kids come to Camp Fiverr and spend 10 years with role models that really make a difference in their lives. Character is the core of what we're trying to develop with these kids.
We're going to write words that we think about when we hear the word injustice.
Our goal is to empower them to make positive life choices.
To get involved, thankyouFilms.org.
Hi there. We're at Julian's Journal. In fact, the new office location for Julian's Journal right here in the Federal Historic Building. We are joined by Rachel Zaccaro, who is the creative director here at Julian's Journal, who's also a young professional living and working and playing right here in Dubuque. So, Rachel, thank you for joining us.
No problem. My pleasure.
Absolutely. Tell us about your job here at Julian's Journal. Tell us what you do here.
Well, I lay out the magazine. So I get all the stories from John, the editorial director, and then I just lay out the whole magazine, put graphics in, and we all work together as a team to just get it perfect and then put it out into publication.
Rachel, I know you've got an interesting story to tell about growing up in Dubuque and then going off to college and then to Denver and then coming back. Why don't you fill the folks in a little bit on that?
Okay. Well, I did grow up in Dubuque, and then I went to Wartburg, and Wartburg had a perfect opportunity for me. They have a sister school in Denver where they offer internships to all the college students. So I moved out to Denver for almost 2 years where I had internships out there, and I loved it. I fell in love with Denver, but as time was coming and it was getting time to graduate, I was sort of on the fence. Should I live in Denver? Should I live in Dubuque? And I came back to Dubuque, and just I remember how green it was and how happy it was, and a job just fell into my lap. Everything worked out, and I had a job right after graduation, and I've been here ever since, and I just bought a house, so I'm not going to leave.
Rachel, as an unmarried young professional here in Dubuque, can you tell us about some of the things that you enjoy here in Dubuque as a young professional?
Oh my gosh, how long do you have? This summer, we just go crazy. We go to all the festivals. Dragon boat racing is one of the highlights of the fall. I know my boyfriend does those through UCL, so that's something I really look forward to. We go to all the festivals at the Town Clock, Taste of Dubuque, the nightlife. I just love the nightlife. It's just so many different people, and you always can find a conversation. We go over to Galena. I mean, there's just so many things that we can do that we find that we're double booked most weekends. So just all those festivals are probably the highlight of what we do. And we started in the winter. We still go down to the Riverwalk and the Mind Frame Theaters. Just we like the new diversity that's coming into Dubuque.
So tell us more about your profession and your position here at Julian's Journal. You've got a nice office here overlooking the park. Did you ever think that when you were coming back from Denver that you'd be in something like this?
I never imagined that. Dubuque had changed a lot when I was in college, and right when I went off to college, we got the Riverwalk, and I came back, and that really started my love for Dubuque. Because if you're out in the Riverwalk, you know, it's just, you're like in Duluth, because I know that they sort of modeled that after Duluth, and it just feels like you're in a big city. But I never thought I'd be doing something so metropolitan in such a town that I consider to be small, hometown. It just seems like I'm in the big city. Yeah, it does. So I never thought I'd be doing something like this, using my graphic design and a very cosmopolitan sort of major in a town like Dubuque, and that's great that I can do everything I went to school for here.
So many of the young professionals that we talked to today mentioned the support systems that they have available to them in the Dubuque area, whether it be friends or families or young professionals of Dubuque or JCs. Can you tell us how you got involved coming back after graduating from Denver in the community?
Sure. My parents are very tied into the community, so they have a lot of references, and I love that when I go out to the grocery store, I'll run into tons of their friends, and it makes me feel like I'm, you know, bigger than I probably am. So I felt like I had a lot of ties to Dubuque and connections in Dubuque, and that was really encouraging for me. And I know that I've had run into a lot of friends who have become part of the JCs, and that is something that I definitely want to get into, because their experiences, they just say it's like a college club. It's really fun, and that's something that I do miss about not being in college. So I definitely want to broaden my horizons and get into those different clubs and organizations, because I know that those clubs have really helped them with their careers and their social life too. So yeah, that's definitely something Dubuque has that's a positive.
So Rachel, you've already told us several things, but if you had to, we ask everyone the same question. What are your favorite 3 things about Dubuque?
3 things. Well, number one, the biggest thing is what I just touched on, is big city feel, but also that small town life, and it just is everything wrapped into one. The Riverwalk. I love the Riverwalk. I'll be out there on my lunch, walking up and down, the restaurants along it, the theater area, that's great, and the nightlife. Love the nightlife in Dubuque. The bars and the clubs and the wine, little wine bars and restaurants, so those 3.
All right.
Thank you, Rachel, very much. We end each segment with our tagline, I love Dubuque.
Today, we battle in the bathtub. Now, that's kind of silly. Hey, look at this. There's a cat in there. In the bathtub? Yeah, right there. You can't do that. I know. And there's a boat and there's all kinds of boats. Right. What's this thing?
Okay, for our last segment on I Love Dubuque today, Molly and I are sitting here in the beautiful lobby at Cartograph, and we're talking with Brad and Dana Holthaus. Folks, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
We are just kind of finishing up here talking about what it is like to be a young professional and living and working and playing in Dubuque. And Brad and Dana, you two bring a different kind of dimension to what we've been talking about today. You also are raising a family here in Dubuque, aren't you?
That is correct. We have 2 children, Isabella, who is 5, almost 6, and Sophia, who is 3.5.
So we actually grew up here. We both actually graduated from Hempstead, but then and we didn't even know each other. I'm a little bit older than he is, but we went to the same high school, didn't know each other. We went to different colleges. I went to the University of Dubuque, and then he went to the University of Iowa. And we didn't know each other even all through college, and then we kind of met each other through a mutual friend back in Dubuque. And we both had graduated college and didn't know what we wanted to do, so we just kind of picked a dot on the map, which happened to be Minneapolis. And we moved to Minneapolis and lived there for 6 years. In that time, we got married and bought a house, sold a house, decided that it was time to have children. And we both really felt strongly about raising our family back here in Dubuque for a lot of reasons. One, of course, because our families both are here, both healthy, and both grandparents are here and healthy and happy. So that's really wonderful. And then the other piece of the puzzle was that it all just fell right into place for us. It was easy for us to come back here and find great employers, and we both got jobs in the same week. He took a job like Monday, I accepted a job on Friday, and we moved back, and it's been 7 years now, and 2 children later, we're having a great time.
That's a great story. We've heard a lot today about people coming back to the area, young professionals that are coming back to the area, and you're raising a family here, but you also have wonderful careers here. So hoping you can tell us a little bit about your professional life as well.
Certainly, I'll go first on that. Ironically, up in Minneapolis, I worked for several technology companies up there doing technical support, management, and so forth. I was a little bit nervous about coming back and a little bit apprehensive about finding a job in the technology field. Luckily, I sent out a couple resumes. The first resume I sent out was actually to Cartograph, which I'm currently still employed at, which was almost 7 years ago. I started here with Cartograph in the technical support role, but I've had several positions within here. Currently as project manager out here with Cartograph, and it's been great. I've done a lot of traveling, which is good and bad with the family, but the good part is, being here in Dubuque and the airport is literally 3 miles down the road. You get in at the 10 o'clock flight, I'm still home at 10:05, so it certainly works out really well for that.
And then as far as my career since we moved back, I obtained a position first with Prudential Financial, and I was a client advisor for them, helping them with managing retirement accounts. I did that for 4 years, and then I decided I wanted to sort of break away and kind of live a dream of mine, which was to open my own business. So I opened a boutique down in the historic part of Dubuque, and I did that for 2 years. After I decided to close that store, then I found myself looking and searching for another job. Actually not that long ago, about 6 months ago, and I decided to stretch my experience and take a position with a nonprofit organization. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm doing development and marketing for that organization here in Dubuque, which helps support women and children who are homeless.
So tell us, as parents of young children and young people yourselves, what kinds of things do you like to do in your spare time around the community?
Right, well, before we had children, we really enjoyed the restaurants. We enjoyed the symphony. The River Museum is just a wonderful place to go. The waterfront is amazing, and it's a great place to have our friends come and visit from out of town and show them the sights of Dubuque. So before we had children, we sort of frequented those environments a lot. Now that we have children, the opportunity and time is scaled away for us to be able to do those things. However, we love to go downtown, and our favorite restaurant is Pepper Sprout. Last weekend, Friday night and Saturday night, we happened to be at the River Museum with the children for a children's event. So, but honestly, we go to the parks all the time. Our kids at their ages, 5.5 and 3.5, we happen to live in an area where there's a park 2 miles one way and 3 miles the other way. And so we take a walk and we take the children to the park and enjoy the outside.
Can you share with viewers, we have viewers not only in Dubuque but across the state, what you would tell other families that are considering Dubuque as their possible new professional and personal home?
Certainly. Dubuque brings a lot of things to it. One, it's a safe environment. It's a closed community in terms of, it's very tight in terms of the people around here. You have excellent education. Our daughter's actually in kindergarten right now, and it's been just an absolute pleasure going. She's up at Bryan Elementary. The medical, in terms of any kind of health care you need, stuff like that, the quality health care around here. And there's just a lot to do. You know, when we left here when I was 18 years old before I went to college, you know, I made that statement, I'll never come back to Dubuque. You know, you're thinking you're the young kid going to see the big city, and you realize once your priorities get shifted and really understand what you want to do in life, you realize you want to come back, you want that safe environment, you want good education, quality health care, job commutes. When I lived in Minneapolis, I commuted 45 minutes one way each day. That was without snow. Here, my commute literally is about 5 minutes. I can go home for lunch and things like that. So it's very nice, easy to get around and so forth.
When we moved away and the time that we came back, I couldn't believe the changes that had happened, and all positive changes. The city had just, I don't know, I want to say exploded. I mean, it was a good place. I grew up here. It will always be home to me, but the changes, like I said, the riverfront, I mean, the leadership in our community is outstanding, and the changes that have been made are all beneficial to the individual, to the family, to everyone who lives here. It's just been outstanding.
We've heard that a lot today, that you have the big city amenities, but yet you have the small town community feel and charm, that people know your name, that you're not anonymous, you're not just a face in the crowd, but people know you. Mm-hmm. If you could pick one thing about Dubuque that you feel sets it apart from every place else, what would it be?
I think you kind of hit it right there, that sense of community. Everyone feels that they're involved here. You can do as little or as much as you want, but still going out and making sure that you know somebody and someone knows you. That sense of community is very nice.
And everybody seems to be working together towards a same common goal, and it's just creating an environment that's a great place for people to live, whether you're single or whether you're married or whether you have children or not. It's just a welcoming environment with a lot of opportunity.
And I loved your comment about the local leadership.
I know.
Well, Brett and Dina, thanks very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you guys very much.
Well, we close every segment with our tagline. If we can say goodbye to our viewers with I Love Dubuque. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
I love Dubuque.
Well, Kev, another great episode of I Love Dubuque. Thank you for joining us today. We had a great time talking to young professionals in Dubuque.
That's right, and we also want to thank the places that we visited today. Monk's Coffee, Julian's Journal, the National Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium, and Cartograph.
Absolutely great places. If you want to learn more about young professionals in Dubuque or the places that Kevin just mentioned, we encourage you to visit our website at www.dubuquechamber.com or give us a call at 563-557-9200.
And we'll see you next time on
I Love Dubuque.
We founded Reserve in response to one of the greatest social changes the world has ever seen. The idea of Reserve is to connect older adults with lifetime skills to work with nonprofits, more people living longer and wanting to give back.
To get involved, thankyoufilms.org.
David Francis, the founder of Next Step Foundation, and I agree. Next Step Foundation has to be there. It has to be there for the addict or the alcoholic that's decided to turn their life around. And it needs to be there for somebody like me who doesn't know where to take a loved one when they need help.
To get involved, thankyoufilms.org.